Hello and welcome everyone to another week, another wonderful week of MC DeltaT and some live stream rapping. If you are joining us this evening, you will hopefully be familiar with the schedule. Sometimes I rap, sometimes I pour drinks of water. Anything can happen. If you're not familiar, then what we do is I rap about some words. You can see they're random because I have a random word generator alongside the screen. Have some tunes, anything you'd like to hear rap about, just throw it down in the comments and I will rap about it even as I go. And I don't think you can say fairer than that. So just as an example, I click random words and we have, snake, interference, authority, bubble, guitar, war, stir and revival. So some pretty great topics there already. So therefore, without further ado, we shall begin. As always, if the levels are a bit wrong, if there's some kind of issue, then just tell me. But otherwise, let's get going. I always start on this one, big favourite of mine. It's a track written by my cousin, so pretty great work from him to be able to write this and just an enjoyable one to go to. Now this whole game's not about stroking my ego, but I guess that if we started, maybe you'd think emo, because sometimes I'm a little self-productive and maybe occasionally that doesn't end up productive. But if I were running a company, you've got to be able to be looking at yourself and see whether you could improve or maybe get worse. Maybe my headquarters can be slightly terse with the emails that they send out twice weekly telling me bleakly that I should seek the ways to improve my rapping style. They're not very diplomatic, but I guess I take a while to be able to get on the beat, to be able to model the attitude they see. And I guess that maybe I'm like in a corporate cage, maybe running the rap race, maybe I am enraged. But much like 28 days later, seems like it can occasionally get frustrating. But I am not the one who's sitting here prating through my ideas, because I'd rather be operating at like 80% efficiency. That's some kind of motive for me, not very important. See, I could be operating at merely 20, but I guess I consider that to be plenty, because work is not the most important thing. The nuance is such that you can be king or you can be a pauper. Your value's just the same. I've got to impress that one on you again, because I don't believe that there is anything which makes you more valuable. So when I sing about what's going on, what I think is good or bad, may I say that no amount of work should make you sad. But nonetheless, if you don't have work to do, it seems that problems are gonna come to you, unable to feed your family or such. Maybe you earn too little, maybe you earn too much. Don't want to attack people in particular situations, but may I say that there's frustration on both sides of the border on the way things go. Maybe you think it's too fast, maybe you consider it too slow, but I don't want to be rapping in vain, insane. Maybe people to hear it again, but exactly how are we going to get to a way that everybody can be provided for? Hey, because some people think it's just merely survival of the fittest. If you're wittiest or prettiest, everybody thinks grittiest is gonna get you to the places you need to go. Is that an environment, or are we just killing the slow? Because there's many people who can't run, not because they don't desire, but maybe because they've been fired, or maybe because they've been mired from the beginning in a way that was always going to stop them from winning. Not sinning to be in a situation like that. They've been set back and they need to be put on track, but not be pulled through the rack of poverty. Seems to me that that's not going to work, obviously. And honestly, I think if you've fallen off the wagon, you should be able to get back on, rather than just being told that you failed and you're not bold enough, anon and anon. See, if I could comply on the fly, then I would just say that it seems to me that there is just one simple way that we could get through this if we could understand the people who are going in the other kind of hand. On the other hand, maybe other side of the road, the people who live in a different way, those people whose upbringings were different than ours. I'm not saying kind of tolerance, I'm saying like love. You've got to understand, to be simple, it doesn't have to be really complex. Some of the simplest things that I know can also be the most difficult. Direct. I don't need to go quickly, because sometimes it seems that if you go sickly, you can be like sickly sweet, and yeah, it's great, life's gonna be wonderful, nothing that we hate, but there needs to be a vessel to get there, some kind of ship, maybe like a friendship. No, I'm not being quite that cheesy, but if we had something to lift us, like some way that we could easily there, I don't care, maybe some kind of hot air. Maybe I'm just speaking gas, but I reckon I'm not. Maybe there's something different in what I got. Anyway, if I were asked for a fuel, I'd probably give it in gallons. No, litres rule. I really think that a litre is great. Maybe it's my science head on, but I really hate like things not being better merely because they could. So the idea that we have like a metric that's really good, like having 1,000 millilitres and 1,000 grams and 1,000 meters, it's really great in my opinion. Not that defining metrics is my dominion, but it was for a while. Like, see, I studied math, and so it means that when I get in the bath, it allows me to take a path quickly to be filling all of the water up in a measurement system which is going to be easily translatable to math without any guff. Because if I was going to give a haircut to the previous regime, I'd say that ounces, pounds, yeah, they're pretty cool, but they're much more difficult than they seem, and occasionally they generate incongruous results. If you're listening, please comment. I feel like that's my price for entry. If I can say that, obviously you're free to do what you want, but I'd love to see if people are listening, for them to comment. That'd be great. Let's quickly move on to rap number 2. If there's any kind of issues, then please do tell me. If you're crying into tissues, if there's something that I've misused, you get the theme. Rap number 2. I think my theme for the week, which I should probably not introduce in rhyme, will be that I maybe ought to seek to do like some kind of reviews some of the time. So for like a period of each of these raps, which I clearly have not previously prepared, I'm going to talk about something which I think is cool, which I think that you should care. So let's start about games that I've been playing recently. Maybe you don't like games, but hey, you're on this channel, so I guess you can listen to me, and if you don't, that's great. I don't mind easily. Nonetheless, what I'd like to process is the fact that I think under duress there are some games that you should play quite quickly. I've been playing a lot of this game called Do This, and hey, yeah, it's pretty great. It doesn't have any mechanics I hate, and there's no way that you can get out without playing quite well, and that seems to be the sort of thing that I should tell people about. You have like these copies of cards, and it seems to me not too bad to be hard. If you want to play like a tactical simulator, seems great, and maybe you have these things and they're permanent on a screen and they move about, and occasionally they team and your team has to beat the other guy. You've got to be looking at position, you've got to know why exactly what you're doing, and if you are screwing around, it ain't gonna wash. Probably your team's gonna be beat, then it's gonna head to the ground. The weight of gravity is gonna pull you down. If you seek to be better, then you might end up frowning if you are not gonna do well. Anyway, I guess that's all I can tell. I've played like quite a lot of online games and I've played a lot of online card games, and it seems to me that though I remember their names like Hearthstone or maybe like Legends of the Forge, no, I don't know why I said that, that was one I made up. Anyway, suffice to say that some are great, some are good, and some are merely okay, and the thing that sets them apart as far as I'm concerned, the board game art is trying to transfer to that the digital medium is whether they are okay or whether they are seedy or whether they are things which are actually being genuinely creative. Man, this is quite difficult to like try and structure arguments and rap at the same time. This could be beyond me. Thanks, Jeff. My main man Jeff here. He's on the team. Anyway, just want to say that I think it's cool to be able to have things that you think are great. So if you want to have something more on your plate, then I would say please do not wait to find something great. Maybe find some card games. Oh, so this is great. We'll do another rap. That was partially successful. Yeah, it's him, it's MLM. Man like Morrison Shaw, repping it. Any themes you want rapped about, guys? So this is the marriage of words and desires, because sometimes I have got an idea that fires my brain, and though it might have low potential, I guess I'm gonna mention it because I mention all my ideas and my fears don't flow. So if you don't like it, I guess you can go. If you think I should say KYS, well, I'm not gonna do that, so you can guess. If you've got ideas, throw them in the comment stream, because I will ferry them over to me by the medium of the wonderful internet. It's like 7 out of 10, but it's the best you can get. So first hand, because no one else has heard the ideas you're gonna say, hardly absurd. You just want to hear them? Well, I think they're great, so go and tell me, put some ideas on my plate. I'm not conservative about what I say, I'm gonna say what's in my head even if I think it's not okay. That's a lie, but I'm gonna go that I was gonna rhyme, so that was my flow. Anyway, my slant is probably quite small c conservative, but I can be kind of liberal with my ideas if I think they are the sort that should not be dropped in the drink. First, I think we should build more housing. Maybe you did not think that while you were browsing I was gonna come up with some political scheme. Don't discriminate me because I'm a political team. My memes might be kind of rubbish. I may not be the guy with gifts you can rubbish, but I just want to say that I'm not going to sacrifice my ideas if I think that they're nice. There's no conspiracy with my quantities, bringing out my words and you want to see me. I've got some requests to have a TV show that is pretty close to me. So you see the recent Emmy winner Rami Malek, Mr. Robot, yeah, it's the best you can get. It's about hacking in a realistic way, the overthrow of those guys who roll, okay? Everybody who rules our world, the guys who have their riches, their powers unfurled, are they gonna get taken down if the internet blows? Is there gonna be some way they can't wipe their nose? It's a very clever show which talks about what it is to be a person. What do you got? If you're arguing with yourself, what do you know is true? Is it better to be utilitarian if your view allows you to overthrow the current poor system that exists? Or is it better to have morality but be constantly shaking your fists? Because if you're forced to throw out a moral system, then the only thing you're gonna have is, again, constantly being forced to destroy that which currently will annoy. And maybe we're gonna jump back into that. We had some level of flow. Anyway, the camera angles are also pretty great. Seems to me that should not frustrate you if you're watching to be doctoring something which is challenging the doctrine. And if you think that you ought to get the doctor in to see me, then you are on the current flow that is right, because there's quite a lot of ideas about the psych. Maybe people asking what do they think, exactly what's in their head, and they blink, the camera turns round, the lights turn low, all the plots change round, and I hardly know exactly where we're gonna go next time. But I guess I gotta say the show's pretty sublime. Anyway, gotta move in the galaxy, and it seems like we're talking about ships to me. Jeff wants some maritimes like the Navy. Guess that's not gonna sound too crazy. Anyway, I was up on my knees because I've got some artistry, and if you please, not gonna take off my shoes, you see, because I'm not in a mosque, so I can be showing you my socks. And Alex has asked for some KC9, and I can be asked to do that because I've got some skills. I've only seen like maybe 10 of his stills, but having one single vlog a day seems to me okay, but I am not that great at filming, so I don't want to be telling you that I'm gonna kill it, because I would probably kill them. Anyway, if I had an idea every single time, maybe I made 365 a year or 366 on a leap year, it would be pretty great. Maybe you would veer from the strange to the bizarre. Maybe you think that this guy should get in a car and drive off, but I'm not. I'm hardly gonna change. Maybe I would find some way to rearrange. We could have a big rapping battle. I'd take you down as if you were cattle. You'd cow down, you'd kowtow to my amazing skill, and I would plow harder than Vader with his lightsaber. Got more skills than Luke. If you look the other way, I'll be insidious, I'll be mauling, I'll be taking you down like Qui-Gon brawling. Yeah, we'll take that there. I think, seeing as we are in the middle segment, we might go for the next one being some kind of political rap. You can still throw 3 themes, things that you'd like me to rap about in terms of, ooh, I've definitely done a bad thing. I started updating something. Don't do that. So next song, political rap. I made this joke last time, I'm going to make it again. This week on Dragon's Den, we have a show about a man who talks too much to people who occasionally aren't there. So, if you've been following this week's news, you'll have heard some views, and it seems that I'll abuse you by giving some Corbyn for King propaganda if you think that's bling. Anyway, I've had a propaganda and I've looked, and I've decided that it seems like you should book your Corbyn tickets because he's gonna win. You might think that's great, or you think that is a sin, because there's only one guy who's gonna take the Labour faction currently. Owen Smith is as good as dead, and his campaign is not going to win for me or anybody who's polling. He's polling well behind, and it seems to me that he should design some way he can get on the cabinet to change, because there's no chance he's going to get in range of the leadership position, and maybe that's going to cause a split in the factions. Maybe there is some way that these parties are gonna break, rearrange like fractions. Anyway, don't want to say that this is gonna be caused by an action. It's just the fact that we've got many different groups inside, and they are not gonna like. Their predilection is to be argumentative, much like Republicans and the other guys. And it seems like after some terrifying weeks, we might finally have a guise of Hillary winning. It seems to me that Trump's support is thinning. He's made some jokes about Skittles, but he's going to fall. It might be bowling time, and I think she'll take him all the. It's not nearly so far as it once was, but I guess that we should at least be glad she's in head, because if he wins, well, we will not be dead. I think it will be okay, so I guess we gotta be red. We're reading the comments. Supposedly it's Jeff for PM, and though I think Jeff is pretty great, I'm not sure what his current policy experience is. Tell me again if you've got some ideas of what I should say, because currently my mind is fading to grey. I think there is probably one way that we can maybe light it up. Maybe we could be okay. Maybe we could talk about the Liberal Democrat conference. Maybe it's not being in the forefront of your mind, but let's not leave those guys behind. They're the only ones realistically gonna provide some kind of more vote to be saying whether we should be in the EU boat or on our own ship. Maybe we're going to be in the ship, maybe we'll take a tip. Not sure that we are going to manage to be able to be the only ones who can disparage the world as it goes down into a pan, because if they elect Trump, then I think we can. Will it be the rise of the right, or will we birth to the left? Will we be taking back what we should have left? Will we be allowing them to win? Maybe I can't rap Mario Yiannopoulos quickly because I can barely say that word slowly. I mean, I don't like most of what he says, but occasionally he is rolling with some things that ought to be said. Like, sometimes I do wonder whether Twitter will be dead, because it seems to me that there's too much of the things which is being suppressed. Like, right-wing ideas are occasionally stopped, and sometimes it seems like verified's dropped, and that's probably not a good way to try and keep your main players in play, and sometimes the whole system doesn't seem to make sense. Maybe I'm being after. I think I'm going to take offense that the other YouTubers who are watching my channel are taking scuba dives into popularity and saying that I should tell you that I should be playing their channels instead of rapping on mine. Man like Morrison's great, he's fine. Anyway, I don't want to undermine the policy that we've been going. It's going to be time pretty soon. I'm sure this rap's running out, so hopefully I'll say that I have been in doubt that the world is going to go as bad as people think. It's hardly going to be falling in the drink, but a blink and everything could change by next week. It could be fantastic or pretty bleak. Great. Yeah, gonna do another rap. If there's anything you'd like me to review, you know, if there's anything that you would, you know, that you think I've experienced and you'd like me to talk about, larger topics. Hey, all my followers out there, the Nathan Nation, okay, gonna have a Twitter war with Heathy. He's going down. Take his videos down. Now, I don't want to say that I'm enthusiastic for war, because when it breaks down much like plastic, the effects are left in the seas for all time. Might have seemed great, but it's hardly sublime to be refining things that are killing the fish in the dish, and seems like we're swilling ourselves in some way. Are we going to be willing to be taking up the things we've instilled in the third world? If we're taking them down, maybe there's some way that we should cause smiles, not frowns, and maybe I should have been there, not drowning their kids as they tried to find their crown and glory in Europe, fleeing from poverty. Maybe there's something slovenly in the way that I've been dealing with the Syrian situation. Am I a person? Should I fight for this nation with no delay? I hope that we manage to find ourselves, grope our way to some kind of political solution. Maybe not cleansing, but some kind of absolution. But as we fly to our conferences all over the world via aviation, seems to me these nations are kind of impatient, and everybody is telling me that their fragrance is fragrant. Don't want to be changing the world, would just like to change the lives of a few people, and I guess that will be great. Maybe allow them to survive. And not read much of the Quran to say, I've read quite a lot of the Bible, do it each day. Think that book's great, would advise you to too. It's gonna be the thing that will take you choo-choo like a train out of the Matrix. Allow you to be thinking some ideas, to kowtow to different ones, to be thinking different thoughts. Maybe there are some things which you've been bought into which have not been true. You've accepted some ideas which have merely been directed by the ideas of the advertising world. Some of them absurd, some of them curled inside your brain. The scheme, the game that they're playing is hardly one that you want to be playing. You don't have an idea of your own anymore. You just loaded the ideas of the guys now poor, since they've been spending their ideas fending for themselves on this concrete jungle that we're ending. I'm not sure that my journal entries are great, but sometimes I read things that I don't hate. And if I could have a correspondence with myself like 10 years ago, I'd say you'll roughly feel the same way that you did. But life, it ain't so slow. It has not exactly moved nowhere, but I'm pretty glad not to be in debt to the ideas that I currently despise, and my tears are hardly wet. Okay, we want proxy singed. If you're phoning in and you want to hear me whinge about the fact that League of Legends is great, then hold on to this section, because you're going to hate the fact Oh right, okay. We're gonna once. I need to get a handle on how long these segments are. So, League of Legends LOL is the biggest game in the world, and well, if you've not heard of it, it seems absurd to me that you have avoided this excellency. And if you see it played on a screen, you've got to understand that it is 2 teams of 5 surviving. The jungle is vibing and everybody's trying to take me down like Riley's Skepta. They're flowing me Skepta. Maybe he's knowing it, maybe he's repped up the ideas, because he's probably a fan. I mean, like 1 in 3 people are, maybe less, man, not sure. That pulled out of my head, much like most statistics. It was improperly used, maybe made up, maybe abusing the idea of truth. Maybe I'm gonna be the one who's raising the roof. Proxy singes when you like run into their base, and you maybe get an angry face on their faces, because what you do is abuse their... It's kind of hard to explain by the medium of rap. Basically, you go in and you manage to trap all of their minions, so your forces sway in the part of the board matters, okay? So like, you can lose in one area if you can win in a place that is scarier. And so that's like the main idea. But I think we're gonna leave the proxy singe debate here. There's a narrow line to where we're gonna go next. Maybe you've enjoyed it, maybe you think I've been too direct, or not direct enough. In many things you may have considered me to be speaking guff. Rough would be my opinion if you gave me those ideas. I've got fairly thin skin and terribly acidic tears, but the acceptance is such that I'm pretty happy. The barrier that I have jumped is quite gappy, small, no wall built by Trump, so I'm not gonna be grief, not gonna have a grump. Thought it was finishing there, so I stopped. Thanks for all the chat, everyone. One more. One last time. Such a cheesy track. Can I rap over Save a Life by the Fray? Yeah, I suppose I can. I mean, I will probably get sued for it. I don't mean sued. I mean, I will probably. Do you want the instrumental, or do you want just the full song, the instrumental? I'm sure that one of these is obviously better, but I can't think of it now. So we're just doing some audience interaction. I've been asked if I can rap over How to Save a Life by the Fray, so I'm gonna. That's what this channel is about. Nah, I'm not monetized. Okay, instrumental track. Those are the words. Okay, great. There we are. I mean, maybe the levels be wrong. Tell me if it's. Tell me if the levels are wrong. Okay, so now we're having songs suggested by the audience. We could do this. Step 1, you load and try to find a village that's not covered in vines. I'm singing now, but I think I ought to plow quickly to be able to rise through the jungle that's thickly providing itself like a shelf that I'm trying to grab on, and I'm not sure if I can go on and on. Maybe I should exclude myself. Maybe I should find somewhere that is a wealth of ideas, not fears, everything taking. Maybe you should find, if you ask me, breaking myself and of things that's going. Maybe I should find somewhere I can float into the world, or maybe I should be my own ideas. Maybe a catalogue of fears and joys and changes, everything great. Not sure now exactly what I hate, but the penny drops and everything finds. I'm not sure how I'm gonna undermine my own ideas, so I'll just take something, maybe take a break. And if I had somebody who could sing ideas, and maybe they could bring some sort of chorus so that I could stop and they could sing and then I'd not drop. But the hemisphere that covers my head is always looking round, and red sky at night, blue in the morning. Am I yawning? Maybe perhaps I'm forlorning. I'm just describing what I see, though there's a wall there. It seems to me that sometimes things are great and sometimes they are poor, and a more basic idea, no doubt you're sitting there yawning, but I am trying to see if I can go fine, and maybe I can't be just quite as quick. The laboratory is making me sick, because we've been developing things to be able to bring ourselves kings, and that's gonna hurt people sitting there. Maybe everything is so bleak, or like, is it weapons that we should have? Nuclear ones, maybe they're bad, and everybody says that it's better for me than you, but seems to me better if no one has. Yeah, okay, just gonna have some water. Jeff's emotional, I'm upset, but it seems to me the primary way we can get ideas as far as we're going is to talk about things that we currently don't know in. There are many ways that we can challenge ourselves, maybe bring our praise to something that is praiseworthy, maybe bring something that's uncertain. Not sure that I know where it's going, but I'll exploit the idea that we are showing ourselves to be better when we talk about what we really think, and we hardly flout the faces that sit on our faces, the masks that we wear that grace ourselves, that tell us that we can hide instead of finding some way to provide ourselves what we know. Maybe we can find there's some way to slow, maybe we can find some way to speed up, like a cat clock, tough. Not sure, should go back for seconds. Maybe there's more rhymes than I could have reckoned. Not sure I feel exactly where I'm going, but I certainly know that the rhymes are slowing. If you like it, you can take it. If you've got some ideas, maybe don't break them. Maybe we could all go in a cave. Maybe we should leave, maybe we should be brave. Not sure that I know how it will end, but I think that I find if you think your ideas are better, then try and undermine mine. How to save a life. See, I'm just tempted to sing. I lost a friend somewhere in the middle. I don't really know the words. There was some like smooth troops, and like they had a lot of enthusiasm. So they were like threading their way through the overall battlefield. And the question they asked themselves was, like, is this war that we're fighting, is it really worth it? Or are we just at the shape of other people's ideals? Are we amusing ourselves? Are we fighting for our friends? Can we really articulate what's going on? Panda by Designer. I mean, I'm quite happy to continue, even though we've passed our normal slot. Every time I try and type. I'm really not sure I'm gonna be able to do this justice. Return of the mic. No.
Worth dying for, worth killing for, worth going to hell for.
My rhymes are like clay. Can you take it? Okay, I guess I've just started rapping when the beat goes away. But okay, no, this is. Is this the right thing? Seems that there's hardly any. Okay, guess what we're gonna manage now. And if you don't think you're gonna plow, maybe you should ask the council how. I managed this before, cause I've been like council housing. If you wanna see all the people, then you should check out my browsing history, cause I can feed this whole street with my ideas. I've got some fears, but I don't really let them near. They get no consideration. I've got my bragging face on, cause I'm like one of those rappers who goes on and on. I'm building estates out the back, cause I'm made of tools, and I've got like bricks coming out, because I'm like one of those bricking fools, and I've got plumbers in, and I think that those guys are cool, but I duck when they try and throw me into the pool. I've got lyrics like counters, and I can't keep a count, and sometimes I'm like a vampire in that I'm a count, and occasionally I climb up a mountain. It's not a mount, it's like a small hill, but anyway, I come down with ideas. I doubt that I should be likening myself to Moses, but I guess what this shows is the only thing it shows is that when the lyrics go and I'm left with no beat, then I just have to try and find dumb words to eat. Anyway, much like a motorist, I'm flowing down the road, and sometimes it seems that I have managed to goad myself into this position of just like rapping at a scream, and maybe it's causing you suffering, but I'm not sure. The buffering might be slow and my lips might have moved out of sync, and maybe there's some way that you could blink and drink a drink and find something else better to do. Maybe find some girls who will appreciate this. You would be doing me a favor, because I'm not great in that scheme. Maybe I've got some dreams, but they're currently quite lean, and Glenn always asks me if there's like a girl on my team, and I'm like, man, I can only dream. But the Marines, maybe those guys are more positioned, maybe those guys are more fitting for my current position. Maybe I should start ignition and like join the army quickly, though I think with my pacifist ideals they'd get sick of me quickly. Not sure that one would float, cause my boat is like a friendship. Whoa, gonna take it down, gonna open up my stride, scatter some more ideas, and hope that we can provide something with more fiction, some quick predilection of something that you think is friction. Not sure that you are going to find this an addiction, but maybe like twice a week you'll be like, you should listen, and I'll be passing out leaflets, like pushing them through post boxes, and maybe I'll be getting attacked by like small angry foxes as I go through the night. I'll be like, why are you getting in my boxes? And they'll be like, we just want to attack you, and I'll be like, knocking them out. Because that's what I'm like, plowing through those guys, the tiny little creatures like scrambling, attacking my thighs, and I've got machinery to like poke them in the eye. I'm like a fox boxer, and that is why I'm taking the time to criticize this idea. Is fox boxing right? Who should be in control of the fox boxing plight? Maybe I've got some ideas, I should grind them for XP. Maybe I can level up, seems pretty reasonable to me, but the despair that I feel is hardly unique. If you've been grinding through mobs for like 3 weeks, it's unique. Maybe you think that you should be able to find some unique item, maybe some kind of magic sword that you seek, but there is no way that you're gonna be wreaking damage, because you'll be able to wreck them and yeah, that's the end of the song. I should have carried on. I mean, that was just lazy of me, but thank you once again. This has been, oh, Laura's just joined as well. I mean, Saria's song. I mean, maybe I should get every time. Should we go with the dubstep version? I mean, we're gonna go. We're going to go with a remix of Saria's song. This might have turned out to be a terrible idea. I guess, no, is this really annoying? No, who knows? I guess that I can find some way to rewind my vines to be able to get the woods right quickly. If this is too fast, I'm going to be bricking myself as I try to find some ideas, and this is horrible. This is a terrible. No, we're just going to go for the original. Honestly, I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. You know, yeah. Whatever you want, bud. Thanks. This is actually a really good idea. Man like Morrison, definitely check out his videos. Heafy too if you like League of Legends. Very good videos. I'm never sure how to start. So I guess that you could manage it. So if I've got some ideas, I guess I'm going to talk about some idea that I've got in my head, no doubt. So Zelda's great, and I hate anyone who says anything that's not that it's great. It has really good puzzles, and you have a horse with a muzzle, and the things that you do are really fun. You can slide from a cabin to outside. There are mushrooms, there are chickens, everything is really freaking great, 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 great. I'll try and do this seriously. But nonetheless, I stress that I think that you should not be able to drink yourself into a stupor without finding some Zelda to be in doubt, because there's a new one coming, and I think that you are really slumming if you have not got a copy of it, though I've not played it, and I think it's a great gift if you're going to buy maybe like a games console for some guy who might be related to you, or maybe a close family friend. You could be able to send him a gift that he could prepend himself with and play like daily. He would be able to do some whaling if there's a ship expansion, I'm not sure, but I think that's the sort of thing I'd endure, because the game has some ships before. There's like the Wind One Waker, maybe it's the sort of thing that would be a really great game maker, but I'm sure that if you were killing whales that would not do great on the current scene, what with the recent thing of making farming orcas we've seen. Anyway, I just want to say that I think Zelda is cray. Really like all of the guys, like finding Rooping, like the surprise, like the fact that you have these little spirits that you can manage to like use powers, maybe playing an Ocarina 2. I think music is great and you should too. Okay, that was a bizarre experience. Jeff, you should really check out Man Like Morrison and Heafy. I'm gonna call it. We can do this again sometime. Thanks. It's been legit fun. Good night. This is the bit where I'm just looking at how to turn off